Snake, do you see any tufts of grass?
Yeah,
What kind of grass?
just ordinary grass. Nothing special.
You should check it anyhow.
It's pretty thick grass, about waist high.
If you crawl into the grass, you can advance under cover. When you do, the camera automatically switches to intrusion view. If you want to stand up again, press and hold the crawl button once more. If you press the crawl button briefly, you'll crouch in that spot. This allows you to observe things without blowing your cover. Got it?
Yeah, but
But what?
was that the only reason?
What do you mean?
You had me check it just so you could tell me that?
That's right. Pretty useful, huh?
Right.
Shall we carry on?
By all means.
Even when hidden in grass, if you make a noise, your enemies will locate you. When enemies are nearby, move with slight movements of the left stick. That way, you can proceed with minimal disturbance. Snake, in order to maintain your stamina, you'll have to feed yourself. The idea behind this mission is procure on sight. This goes for food as well.
Procure on site.
That's right.
But don't you think I should have at least brought a few rations?
Americans have a terrible habit of taking everything with them. Nowadays, nobody can get anything done without a lot of fancy equipment. It wasn't like that in SAS, I'll tell you that. And with Fox, we're running things my way.
Roger that, sir.
You're not convinced, are you? Well, think of it this way. The stuff you'll find out there tastes a lot better than army rations anyway.
I hope you're right.
You'll be procuring food by capturing local plants and animals. Paramedic has information on the flora and fauna available in the mission area. Ask her if you have any questions about the plants and animals you find. Paramedic's frequency is 145.73. Snake, there are other ways to recover your stamina besides eating.
Such as?
Such as taking a rest.
A rest?
To take a rest, all you have to do is save and exit the game. The next time you load your save data and continue the game, your stamina and life will have recovered. How much they recover depends on how long of a rest you take.
So the longer I rest, the more I'll recover.
That's right. If you're so exhausted that you don't even have the strength to find food, save the game and take a rest and you'll be back on your feet.
I hope that never happens.
So do I. But you never know. Just don't forget, okay?
I won't.
Snake, are you all right? You seem awfully tired.
No, not at all.
You don't have to act tough.
I'm not acting.
Really? You lose your grip strength after only a few seconds when hanging. I'll bet you can't even hold your gun straight. Your body is exhausted. Look at your stamina gauge. It's almost empty, isn't it? You can't continue your mission in this state. You need to eat something and recover your stamina. You'll have to put the mission on hold for a little while. First, you got to capture some food.
What?
Did you hear me? Go hunting.
Eating is a necessary part of your mission. When your stamina gets low, make sure you eat something. Got it? Snake, did you find food?
Yeah,
You sound happy.
I am.
Do you know how to eat it? Then let me explain. To eat food, press the Start button to enter the survival viewer, then select Food. Select the food you want to eat and press the Enter button. Select Eat and you will eat the selected food. When you eat, you will recover your stamina, but the extent of recovery depends on what you eat. When your stamina is down only slightly, you should save your tastier morsels for later. But don't leave food for too long or it'll rot. This is where a little planning ahead goes a long way.
Besides eating food, you can throw it at enemies to confuse them. So remember, food is not just for eating. Be creative. You ate some food?
Yes.
You aren't expecting food to recover life, are you?
Of course not. Food alone doesn't heal wounds. Food only recovers stamina.
Good.
Why do you ask?
I once had a guy who thought that eating canned food would recover his life.
What was he, some kind of idiot?
Of sorts, yes. But in the 21st century, they'll probably come up with something that does just that. Snake, do you read? Snake!
Major.
Snake, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm okay.
You're far from okay. Look at your life gauge. You're on your last leg.
No, I can still...
See?
Snake, this is a solo sneaking mission. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Huh?
It means there's no backup, no cavalry. If you're taken out, nobody is there to take your place. Pull out for now and recuperate.
Find a hiding place and get some rest. Your life gauge will gradually recover with time. But the speed of your life gauge recovery depends on the level of your stamina gauge. So get plenty to eat, then get some rest. You hear me? Do you hear me?
I hear you. Major,
What is it?
it's about your code name.
Major Tom?
Yeah, where'd you get that name?
From a tunnel.
A tunnel?
That's right. Snake, have you seen the movie The Great Escape?
No.
It's a movie about a determined group of Allied POWs trapped in a German POW camp who plan an escape. The POWs dig 3 tunnels for their escape. They named them Dick, Harry, and Tom.
I see. So Tom was an escape tunnel. Did they make it?
Out of the camp? Of course. One of the tunnels was even discovered before it was finished, but eventually they do make it out.
I get it now. So Tom was the tunnel they used to escape.
Yes, that's right.
What is it?
Well, actually, I'm not sure if I remember correctly.
Major.
Oh, it's all right. It's, Tom, Snake. Tom is the escape tunnel. No question about it.
Major, what about my code name?
You mean Naked Snake?
Yeah, what does it mean?
It's because snakes slither through the grass unnoticed to those around them.
No, I mean the naked part.
It means without embellishment, devoid of a specified quality. In other words, basic.
Why's that my code name?
I explained that the virtuous mission is designed to test the effectiveness of Fox, right?
Right.
And the procedure used for this mission will represent the modus operandi of Fox for future missions. In other words,
The essence of Fox. Naked and pure.
exactly. And there's the fact that you went in practically naked. No weapons, no equipment.
I see. Means more than I realized.
Yes, clever, isn't it? But don't leave yourself naked to the enemy.
Roger that.
Listen up, Snake. Keep in mind that this operation is strictly covert. Engagements should be avoided. If you must dispose of an enemy, do it with the tranquilizer gun.
Yup. Sweet dreams, Boy Scout.
That's right. And by the time he wakes up, you and Sokolov will be safely out of the country.
Sipping hot coffee on a plane back home.
What did you say?
Hmm?
What did you say?
Sipping hot coffee on a...
You're gonna drink that foul mud? On the victory flight home?
Okay, then. What would you drink?
Tea, of course. The battery recharges automatically when not in use. When you want to recharge the battery, unequip all electronic devices and give it some time. The higher your stamina gauge, the faster your battery recharges. If you want it to recharge faster, eat food and recover your stamina. Also, if you run, roll, or do other dramatic actions, the battery will recharge faster.
Wait a second.
What is it?
The higher my stamina, the faster my battery recharges?
That's what I said.
But what does my stamina have to do with the battery?
Oh, yes, I see what you're getting at. Let's have Paramedic explain that. Paramedic?
Yes, sir. It's because Snake's battery uses bioelectricity.
Bioelectricity.
Bioelectricity is electricity emitted from cells. When the cells of living things are stimulated, sodium and potassium ions move rapidly through the cell membrane's ion channel, creating a difference in electric potential. The battery uses that energy to recharge. So unless your cells have plenty of nutrients, the recharge won't work well.
Amazing the kind of machines that are available now.
But this machine has not been made public. It was designed by a scientist at the CIA's Directorate of Science and Technology.
What kind of person was he?
The person who designed it?
Yeah.
I heard he was pretty strange.
Stranger than the Major?
There's nothing strange about the Major.
My tea's gone. Who drank it? How am I supposed to have tea time without tea?
Well, not too strange, at least.
Hey, my scone's gone too. Part of your mission is to demonstrate to the brass the core concepts behind Fox. Leave no evidence. That's the essence of Fox. And avoid engagement with the enemy.
Understood.
Not only that, I mean leave nothing behind, including weapons, equipment, footprints, sweat, even bodily waste.
Yeah. When I do my business, I bury it good.
What?
What's wrong?
That's the American way.
American way for what?
To handle defecation. You're gonna bury it?
Yeah.
Bring it home with you.
What?
That's what we did in SAS. The US Army is sloppy. They do things well, but not perfectly. Here in Fox, we're doing things my way. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Snake, the Soviet troops are not your only enemies.
How do you mean?
Nature.
Boss?
Poisonous snakes, scorpions, crocodiles, hornets. There are dozens of dangerous life forms living in Selino-Yarsk. There are even poisonous mushrooms and frogs, and other plants and animals that you must not eat. In order to survive in nature, you have to know nature.
Paramedic has information on the flora and fauna in each area. Ask her for the details. Paramedic's frequency is 145.73. Snake, the fake death and revival pills we gave you are the latest in internal medicines developed for intelligence ops by the CIA's technology division. You can use the fake death pill to send yourself into a death-like state for a limited period of time. Use it wisely, and you should be able to fool the enemy into thinking you're really dead. It may come in handy if you ever find yourself cornered. To revive yourself from the fake death state, use the revival pill. But remember, timing is critical. The effect will be ruined if you revive right in front of your enemy.
Interesting. But how does it work?
What do you mean?
I don't feel right taking some pill I don't know anything about. How does it make me look dead? How's it gonna affect my body?
Well, Snake, about that...
I get it. I should ask Paramedic. Paramedic.
Allow me to explain. You know how there are animals in nature that play dead, like weevils, ladybugs, chickadees, possums, and the like? Well, the fake death pill takes the natural art of playing dead and applies it to the spy world. When you take the fake death pill, it causes your body to rapidly secrete a number of chemicals. Adenosine and serotonin, as well as opioid peptides, such as methionine and kethylene. Those chemicals act to induce a state of hibernation, causing your heart rate, your breathing rate, and your body temperature to drop dramatically. It'll truly look like you've dropped dead upon initial inspection. The revival pill, to put it simply, is a counteracting agent to the fake death pill. When you take it, it causes your body to secrete stimulants like noradrenaline and other chemicals such as naloxone, which block the effects of the fake death pill. Basically, it wakes you up. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try and explain it in more detail. The secretion of methionine and kethylene triggered by the fake death pill causes the opioid receptors.
Oh, okay. I think I get it now.
You sure?
Yeah.
But you must want to know a little bit more. There are 3 types of receptors: delta, kappa, and mu. Methionine and kethylene acts on the...
Paramedic, I think Snake understands now. Isn't that right, Snake?
Yeah. Clear as crystal.
But
Major, I've got enough info about the pills, so I'm gonna get back to the mission now.
Yes, you do that.
hey, wait a... Ugh.
Major, didn't you say that the boss was in the SAS with you?
Yes, we formed the 22nd SAS Regiment together. When the SAS, the British Special Air Service, was first established, they invited the boss on board as a special advisor. In fact, you might say it was the boss who put together Rayforce and L Detachment, which laid the groundwork for today's SAS. You won't find her name in the history books, but her contributions were many and great.
Yeah, the real heroes are never made public.
Not in our line of work, anyway. The dummy run on Heliopolis and the nighttime raids on German air bases in North Africa were her idea as well. Yes, she was always one step ahead of the rest of us, both in thought and action. It's true what they say. Who dares wins.
The motto of the SAS.
Precisely. The motto itself is a tribute to her service. Needless to say, the SAS has become a model for special forces units all over the world. In that sense, the boss really is the mother of special forces. You did an excellent halo jump.
Not really. I didn't land in the right spot. A jumper who lost his pack on the first real halo jump. That'll make a good story for you.
Who cares? There are no records of your operations.
I know, but...
What, you're embarrassed?
No, I'm not embarrassed.
It's the boss, isn't it?
Yeah.
What about the boss?
Nothing, paramedic.
Doesn't sound like nothing.
Nothing to do with the boss, I mean.
It has something to do with the boss, but you don't want to say so.
Yeah, kinda.
I understand, Snake.
The boss has done a lot of work on the military study of halo jumps. And Snake here wanted to give a perfect performance on the first real jump, you know, to show respect to the mother of the technique.
Major!
Snake, I thought you were over and out.
Wow, is that right?
You got something to say.
No,
I bet you do.
not really. I just think it's kind of sweet of you to think like that.
I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or an insult.
It's a compliment, Snake. So tell me, is it true?
What?
Not that. Is it true that the boss really worked on research for halo jumps?
Oh, that.
Yes, it's true. Halo stands for High Altitude Low Opening. It's a jump technique developed for covert insertions into enemy territory, just like the area you're in. A plane flies at 10,000 feet or above to avoid detection by ground forces, and the jumper free falls until he's within 1,000-foot altitude above the target area, when he finally opens his chute. By using this technique, the chances of revealing the parachute landing to the enemy are marginal. The halo technique was originally developed in France. This was partly due to popularity of parachuting as a sport since the end of World War II. And the boss was an instructor for the research that was carried out there. In 1957, at the JFK Special Operations Center at Fort Bragg, the boss was invited to instruct at the first ever US military halo school. Of course, none of this is on the record, but she's the mother of modern-day special forces.
Major, you said the enemy was KGB, right?
I did.
What unit are they from? The 6th Directorate?
No, the 9th Directorate.
The 9th?
Yes,
But I thought that was...
exactly. It's the unit that protects the Kremlin and provides bodyguards for high-level VIPs.
But they're assigned to protect party and government figures. I thought that only meant high-ranking officials and their families. And now they're being sent out to stand watch over a field exercise?
That's the idea.
What's really going on?
I don't know. What I do know is that the director of the 9th Directorate is a well-known protege of Khrushchev. The Premier may have wanted to assign this mission to someone he knew he could trust.
So he can't trust any other units?
Ever since the withdrawal from Cuba, Khrushchev's position has been getting weaker day by day. This secret test is an act of desperation by a cornered man. If nothing else, the completion of Sokolov's new weapon in this test should help re-establish Khrushchev's authority in Moscow.
So what you're saying is, there's also a good chance that whoever doesn't want to see that happen is going to try and interfere.
Most likely, Khrushchev must have anticipated this and sent his most loyal unit, his trump card, to make sure that all goes well. In the 2 years since Sokolov's asylum operation, I spent all my time making preparations. And now is the time to show some results. Fox is a next-generation espionage organization designed to update us for 21st century operations that I propose to the CIA. Fox sends individuals who excel in espionage and special tactics on solo sneaking missions like this one. A next-generation unit that combines the skills of Special Forces units like the SAS and Green Berets with the know-how of an infiltration and espionage unit.
Military politics never was my strong suit.
What I'm trying to say is stealth. This is a stealth mission, crucial to the coming Cold War. The CIA director has always frowned upon Fox, but if this mission succeeds, Fox will be added to the CIA as an official unit. I intend to make Fox the leader in special operations. And to that end, this mission must succeed.
Right.
I'm counting on you, Snake.
Major, what kind of place is this secret design bureau that Sokolov is heading?
The Soviets have a number of secret design bureaus like this one, each engaged in cutting-edge research. OKB-1, the bureau where the Voskhod spacecraft was developed and which plays a leading role in the Soviet space program, is one of those installations. Most of them are located in secret cities built in isolated areas, and we don't even know their exact locations, much less the nature of their research. And Sokolov's OKB-754 is the most secret bureau of them all. The intelligence communities of the West have tried time and again to find out what they're working on, but they've failed consistently.
So you have absolutely no idea what Sokolov is developing?
We've got nothing.
Then how did you get the information for this mission? It can't have been from Sokolov.
From the boss.
The boss?
That's right. She has her own intelligence channels that she cultivated during the last war. She shared what she learned with us. That we were able to get the green light for this mission at all is thanks to her pull with the powers that be at the CIA. In other words, this mission would never have come together without the boss's help in a number of respects.
Major, tell me about Sokolov's past work.
I assume you already know that Sokolov was the developer of the multi-engine cluster. The multi-engine cluster is exactly that, a system for fitting a single rocket with multiple engines. The Vostok rocket, for instance, had 32 engines. With the technology they had, it was difficult for the Soviets to develop large engines with massive thrust. So instead, they decided to focus on using multiple smaller engines to achieve the desired thrust. With this method, though, maintaining the fuel balance between the various engines was a major problem. Sokolov was the man who provided the solution.
And that's what earned him the job as the head of the design bureau?
Apparently so.
So this secret weapon is some kind of ballistic device?
Well, that's my best guess. We don't know for sure, but...
You'll find out soon as I get Sokolov out of here.
I'm counting on you. Snake, I've completed the double check on the Fulton recovery system.
Any problems?
None. Leave your recovery to us.
Excellent.
I suppose I should explain the procedure once more before the actual maneuver.
No.
I see. Well, the Fulton recovery system allows for rapid recovery of personnel from enemy territory, and it's perfect for these kinds of special operations. Basically, how it works is the plane flies by and snags a nylon lift line that the soldier has grabbed onto, and that's been elevated by a balloon. The Fulton recovery system was first designed in the 1940s as a method of picking up mail for the American Postal Service. During the Korean War, that system was redesigned to recover personnel. JAC, an ancillary organization to the CIA. Yes, good old JAC. It stands for Joint Advisory Commission Korea. Isn't that something? So, JAC first used the Fulton surface-to-air recovery system to extract agents from North Korea and mainland China. Let's go over the procedure once more, to be on the safe side. First, the plane drops a canister about the size of a coffin to you. Inside, you'll find a balloon, a 1,500-foot cable, and a harness that attaches to your suit. Take the items out, attach the line to your suit, Fill the balloon with helium and send the line up. The plane will approach at 125 miles per hour. Snag the cable just below the balloon with a hook on the nose of the aircraft and whisk you away. Assuming the pickup is successful, you'll be reeled in with a winch and pulled to safety into the rear of the aircraft. Got it? Snake,
Yeah, I got it. I got it real good.
were you listening?
Yeah.
All right then.
Major, tell me a little bit more about the space race.
In 1957, the Soviet Union succeeded in launching their first artificial satellite, Sputnik, into orbit. Having been beaten to the chase by the Soviets, the US government accelerated its own space program in an effort to catch up. The following year, the space development programs of the various service branches were united to form the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA. That same year, the Mercury program was launched with the goal of putting a man into space. 7 candidates were chosen from the military as the first astronauts. These were the men with the right stuff. But as you know, it was a Soviet cosmonaut, Yuri Gagarin, who made the first successful manned spaceflight 3 years ago. NASA's first successful ballistic flight came 1 month after Gagarin's mission, with the Freedom 7 carrying Alan Shepard into space. After that, with America still lagging behind the Soviets in orbital flight, President Kennedy made a momentous decision: that America would put a man on the moon before the end of the decade.
Yeah, I heard that speech, but a lot of guys I knew weren't real happy about it. They said no one was going to make them go on a mission to blow up some damn moon base.
But rocket research and missile research are closely related. Imagine, if you will, a Soviet Union able to send wave after wave of nuclear missiles raining down on Washington from a base on the surface of the moon. Even if that's still a long way from reality, if we lose the initiative, we may never get it back. We're left with no choice but to keep moving forward one step at a time. The Gemini program, launched 2 years ago, represents the initial step towards establishing a moon base. And yet, I don't want to call President Kennedy a liar, but I simply can't imagine that in 6 years man will have reached the moon.
I don't know. I never even thought we'd make it up into space. I guess it all depends on whether you have the will to make it happen.
Perhaps you're right. Ah, you found some lockers. Lockers are a highly prized commodity among intelligence agents. Spies throughout the ages have used lockers to help them accomplish their missions.
Are you sure about that?
Of course I am. You can use lockers for any number of purposes. Hiding yourself, hiding the bodies of enemy soldiers, using the door as a shield. Use them wisely and they'll prove valuable during the mission. To hide inside a locker, first open the locker by standing in front of it and pressing the action button. Once the door's open, you can enter the locker to hide inside it. To come out of the locker, just press the action button again. To hide an enemy's body in a locker, simply drag the body in front of an open locker. You can also break the doors of lockers. If the door of a locker won't open and you're determined to get inside, try breaking into it.
Major, have you been able to contact the boss?
No.
You really think it's bad reception?
We're looking into it.
Major.
Snake, you've got more important things to worry about than contacting the boss. Right now, Sokolov is out there wandering around the jungle alone. What are you going to do if he gets caught by the enemy? We're still looking into why we lost contact with the boss. I'll let you know as soon as we find anything out. In the meantime, it's your job to find Sokolov and get him to safety. Got it?
Major, do you know anything about this GRU Colonel Sokolov was talking about?
Yes.
Who is he?
A most dangerous man indeed. His name is Yevgeny Borisovich Volgin. His code name in the West is Thunderbolt. He's gained a reputation as the most brutal and cold-blooded of the Soviet spy masters. During the war, Volgin was assigned to the domestic branch of the NKVD. He was stationed in the rear of the Soviet line to catch and punish any troops who tried to retreat or desert. He's also notorious for his accomplishments in anti-guerrilla operations in the Ukraine and the Baltic states. Apparently, he likes to boast that he disposed of over 100,000 anti-communists. We also know that he was instrumental in putting down the 1953 insurrection in East Germany and the 1956 uprising in Hungary. He is truly a fearsome man. There's no telling what he might be plotting. Be careful.
I will. Major, what's this Granin Design Bureau Sokolov was talking about?
OKB 812. It's the same type of top-secret facility as Sokolov's own OKB 754. The director is a man by the name of Alexander Leonovich Granin. He's Sokolov's arch-rival, and the two have competed fiercely against each other since the days of the war. To hear Sokolov tell it, though, the rivalry was really all in Granin's head. In any case, Granin seems to harbor an unusually intense hatred for Sokolov. Knowing that Sokolov was protected under the aegis of Khrushchev, Granin threw in his lot with Volgin, the vanguard of the anti-Khrushchev movement. Apparently, Granin meant to use the funds provided by these opposition forces in order to defeat his old foe. Volgin, for his part, was intrigued by the possibility of using the high-tech weapons Granin created in the fight against Khrushchev. Thus, the two formed an alliance, and Volgin took the Granin Design Bureau under his control.
But now Volgin's got his sights set on Sokolov.
Yes, it would seem that he and Granin aren't getting along so well after all. By the way, Snake, what were you doing back there?
Back where?
You were giving some kind of advice to a GRU commander, weren't you?
Yeah?
He's your enemy. What the hell were you thinking?
Really? What was all that about doing the thing with your hand on the first round or whatever?
Whenever he put a new clip in his gun, he'd always load the first round by hand, whether there was a round left in the chamber or not. It's a technique they teach in the Middle East. By making sure there's always a round in the chamber, you eliminate the risk of pulling the trigger with nothing to fire. He must have heard about it from someone or read it somewhere. In any case, he probably wanted to try it out for himself. And he was obviously motivated by vanity to show off his new technique. That's when you make mistakes. The battlefield is an unforgiving place. The only techniques you can rely on are the ones you've mastered through experience and practice.
Uh-huh. And what were you saying about him being more suited to revolvers?
When he fired, he was bending his elbow sharply to avoid the recoil. It looked like he wasn't aware he was doing it, but that habit can be either a fatal flaw or a gift.
What do you mean?
Automatic weapons use recoil to operate, so if you don't let the recoil hit you, it interferes with the operating cycle of the gun. Basically, he shouldn't be trying to avoid the impact like that. But with a revolver, there's no need to let the recoil hit you. Just the opposite. Avoiding the recoil lets you reduce the strain on your hand and arm. That kid might just be handy with a high-caliber revolver.
Handy? Are you listening to yourself?
What do you mean?
He's the enemy. Why are you giving him advice? Snake.
I don't know. For some reason, I couldn't help but point it out to him.
Snake, are you all right?
Yeah. Major,
Yes?
I was just wondering, why do they call you Zero?
What do you mean?
We go back a long ways, but I just realized I never asked you why you're called Zero.
You want to know where it comes from?
Yeah, if that's all right.
It's a bit nostalgic, really.
Nostalgic.
The first British intelligence outfit was established in 1909. The head of the Foreign Intelligence Division was a man named Mansfield George Smith Cumming. He was referred to simply as C after the first letter of his last name. Since then, out of respect for Cumming, the heads of the SIS have traditionally taken the name of C.
And James Bond's boss is called M.
That's right. I myself was once known as O.
And that's where Zero comes from?
Precisely. In another sense, though, it signifies a ghost, one whose true identity must remain a mystery, the primogenitor of the solo sneaking operation.
Is that so?
I see you're using the binoculars. Those are high-performance binoculars made especially for the military. They're completely waterproof and are filled with nitrogen gas to prevent lens fog. The eyepiece, objective lenses, and the prism have been coated to reduce glare. They ought to work plenty well even in dark places. And they're even equipped with autofocus and zoom functions. Won't find a better pair of binoculars than that.
What are you, a binocular salesman?
Hey, I know a good product when I see one, that's all.
Huh.
I see you've equipped the binoculars.
Yep. Scouting is the bread and butter of sneaking missions.
Are you finding them useful?
Yeah, the performance is top-notch, and they're easy to use. These are some good binoculars.
Really? Sigint will be pleased to hear that.
Why does Sigint care?
Because he made them.
Now I get it.
What do you mean?
Don't worry about it.
From what I hear, it took him more than a year to finish them.
I'll admit they're good binoculars, but what took him so long? Was it grinding the lenses?
No, it was the style.
The style?
Yes, he said he could never get the body design just right. Thanks to all his blasted tinkering, we went 3 times over budget. He'd better have a will ready before I get done with him.
Major, what's this temptation Eva was talking about?
In the Old Testament of the Bible, Eve was seduced by a snake into tasting the fruit of knowledge. By eating the forbidden fruit, Adam and Eve disobeyed God's command and were cast out from the Garden of Eden. Thus, it was the snake who led mankind into original sin.
Come to think of it, I did break a rib in the Virtuous mission. Maybe that's where Eva came from.
But the one who tempted Adam into eating the forbidden fruit was Eve. You may be working together, but she's still a KGB operative. Don't let your guard down.
I don't intend to.
Snake, I heard you got a scientist disguise from Eva.
Yeah.
Go to uniform on the camouflage screen and choose scientist to disguise yourself as a scientist.
Scientist, huh?
But it won't do you any good to go around the jungle wearing a scientist disguise.
No one would be that stupid.
You're right. No one would think of going around the jungle in a scientist disguise. If they did, they'd have to be a fool. No, more than a fool. A complete dumbass. Don't you think so, Snake?
Yeah.
Snake?
What's wrong, Major?
I should be asking you the same question. Why are you wearing that outfit?
I wanted to try it on.
Did you listen to a word that I said? What are you thinking, dressing like a scientist in the middle of the jungle? Look at your camo index. You're a walking bullseye. Get back into your camouflage now.
Lighten up.
What was that?
Nothing.
Snake, what in God's name?
How does it look?
It looks cool.
Huh?
It looks cool on you.
It does?
Yeah.
I don't think cool is the right word.
Why? What's wrong with it?
What's wrong? Don't you think it looks silly? Doesn't it make you laugh? Aren't you going to ask me what the hell I was thinking?
No.
Oh.
I think it really does look good. It reminds me of the alligator people.
Oh, the... what?
The Alligator People. It's a science fiction movie. You've never heard of it?
No.
Oh, well, you should see it sometime. It's about this guy who gets hurt in a car accident and tries to heal his wounds by injecting himself with a crocodile serum, but then his head turns into a crocodile head. You look just like him with the mask on. That's awesome!
Right.
Huh?
Oh, never mind. I suppose you might be able to disguise yourself as a crocodile by wearing that cap and sticking your head out of the water.
You're pretty good.